guys, welcome to News to Astonish, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. And today I'm going to be doing a review of Spider-Man for the PS4. So, Spider-Man PS4, when this game was first announced, I, not literally flipped, but in my head, I flipped. I was like, oh my god, we're getting a new PlayStation exclusive, and that's Spider-Man. And now, Spider-Man is a well-known Sony character. Of course, Sony owns the rights to that character, and it only makes sense for this character to be an exclusive for PlayStation 4. So it was a long 2 years of a wait. And let me tell you, by this review, I'm going to tell you right now, it was worth the wait. Spider-Man PS4, when I popped in the game, I was completely floored from the beginning all the way to the end. And yes, I finished the gameplay. Sadly, I won't be uploading any more episodes of Spider-Man gameplay. I haven't been getting the views that I wanted, and I'm having trouble with streaming because my hardware is not up to par, but that's aside from the point of this. I'm talking about the game now. The game is just amazing, from the mechanics to the fighting to the combat to the webbing to basically the feeling of being Spider-Man. You truly get that feeling here in this game. This game invokes so many emotions: sadness, happiness, cheering, thrilling, excitement. Everything is in this game. A perfectly well-written story. It almost feels like you're living through an actual Spider-Man film, done much better than most Spider-Man films. And I'm a huge Spider-Man buff. Now, this game has its own story. This story was brilliantly created by the brilliant developers at Insomniac Games, and they partnered up with PlayStation to develop a true awesome Spider-Man game, and they have succeeded. Supposedly, this Spider-Man game takes place on Earth 1048. So as we all know, in the normal Marvel continuity, the Marvel continuity takes place on Earth 616, where a lot of the stories do take place. There are always a lot of versions and different incarnations of a character that kind of contradict what is presented to you in the comics, but this game offers you a brand new take and a brand new story of the character, along with brand new iterations of other supporting characters like Aunt May, Mary Jane, and of course the very popular Miles Morales. And I'm not going to be spoiling anything in this review, but let's just say when you find out who Peter's mentor is in this game, you're going to be like, what? This game was beyond amazing. It was spectacular, pun intended. And for those of you who saw my stream when I first started streaming the game on the launch night of the game, you would know that I've picked Spectacular mode. I wanted to go full on in Spectacular, which is the hardest mode of the game. At first, it took me about maybe 10-15 minutes to get used to the mechanics and the buttons and how to play the game, but I got used to it rather quickly. The swinging mechanics, probably the best aspect of the game is swinging. Talk about feeling like Spider-Man. Talk about representing Spider-Man at its best. This game, dare I say, is so much better than Spider-Man 2 in every aspect. Graphically, combat and swinging mechanics, story, everything. It's all there. The emotions that are presented on screen totally invokes those emotions. So whenever there's a scene where there's a lot of excitement, funny moments, sadness, those emotions really affect the game player. And it's like I'm watching a film. And this is part of the reason why I love Spider-Man so much, because I feel like I can relate to the character. The character practically reminds me of myself growing up. Sans the intelligence. I'm not exactly as intelligent as Peter Parker is, but everything else in his life that's going on, it's basically what a normal kid goes through growing up. Spider-Man is in his 20s. He's much older in this game. Not the usual teenager as you're used to seeing him. And from everything from changing the costumes to fighting and changing suit modes and power modes to changing gear, it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot to do in Spider-Man PS4. From doing side missions, I'm gonna just mention this minor little problem that I have with the game. The side missions, where you're doing a lot of crime fighting and challenges, I felt like they were kind of repetitive at times. It's basically the same challenge over and over again, but with like a different layer and a different mask. But that to me is a very, very minor issue with the game, and I let it slide because overall, I had a lot of fun doing them anyways. It's a perfect time killer when heading towards the next main story mission, and I had a lot of fun. I also ended up clearing it really quickly because I'm a completionist when it comes to games, and right now I'm sitting at 94% complete on this game. I didn't 100% it, but I did beat the story, and I do want to 100% it. And of course, when the inevitable new game mode plus comes out, I will be uploading gameplay of that with all my acquired gear. But guys, if you haven't played Spider-Man PS4, go ahead and go out there and buy this game. Support the developers at Insomniac, support PlayStation, of course. I want to thank Insomniac personally for making this game. You've truly made my dreams come true of a quintessential Spider-Man game. This game made me feel like Spider-Man like never before, and it's something that I've dreamed of ever since I was a kid and ever since I picked up that controller on PS1 and played Spider-Man 2000. You know which one I'm talking about, you Spidey fans. That game, when I played it, I felt like I was very limited to just the hardware, and I felt like I was limited as to what the character can do. Because whenever I saw cutscenes in Spider-Man PS1, I was like thinking, why can't I move the character like that? And here we are 18 years later, and those dreams of me wanting to move Spider-Man like that, like the way I see it in the movies and cutscenes of a video game, has become reality. And this couldn't have been done without you guys, the fans, Marvel fans at Insomniac, and everyone else who cried for an amazing Spider-Man game. You've made that dream realized, and I want to thank you all, especially you, Insomniac. I'm looking at you. You guys are awesome for making this game. This game is perfect in every aspect, story-wise, combat, everything. And I found no problems with it. That little minor issue that I mentioned about the crime fighting and how everything's kind of similar or near the same with just a different mask over it, it's a minor flaw, and I don't really consider it a huge problem. And that's why I'm going to give Spider-Man PS4 10 out of 10. Guys, that was my review for Spider-Man PS4. What did you guys think of it? Have you played the game? If you haven't done so already, go ahead and do so. It's incredible. You do not want to put the controller down. You guys will have an amazing experience, and you will truly know what it feels like to be Spider-Man once you played Marvel Spider-Man. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you all don't miss anything. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next comic panel.